Today I will tell you a story. There was once a pale man with a dark hair who was very lonely. And to remove his loneliness, he basically split himself into half so that he become two. And the reason for that is so that he would always have a friend. You might be asking why he did that and what could be the reason behind this. Was he really mad? Is it there is something wrong with him? Whatever that comes to your mind. So it wasn't like that. He basically found that none were worthy or selfish, and like it made him feel that they are shallow in a way which he never could have worked on with. So basically, what he did is to stop expecting from people and rather trusting himself so that he would not go and find peace with people rather than himself. So, you might have guessed already that this is my story and this is how I am. And it is one of the things which I have come up with since childhood till now. And it has been one of my major personality. And I want to explain what this is. Have you heard of yin and yang? I think you might have. It is basically showing duality of things like white and black, day and night, truth, falsehood, like whatever you can relate with it. So I basically constrained my full personality into two completely opposite things and started bifurcating between these two things. The reason of doing this was not simple, it is quite complex. I wanted to understand things. I wanted to know what is positive and what is negative. I'm not necessarily saying that only positive is right and only negative is right. Both have equal meaning in life, and it is required to understand the contrast. Without negative, you cannot understand positive, and without positive, you cannot understand negative. So, the reason of doing positive and negative and having two personalities was just to understand what is happening, to understand who I am, to understand how things really work in this whole universe. Because everyone is trying to understand what is happening around. And to do that, I come up with this analogy. And this is different than split personality as you might have thinking about it. Because split personality disorder and DID is basically dissociative identity disorder, where a person just feels that he's dissociated with his identity and might have different identity and start behaving like that. I don't necessarily in that zone. I still haven't tested it out, but I can say for sure that it is different than split personality and DID because this thing I can totally control. Those people who are suffering with bipolar DID or split personality disorder, they cannot control themselves. But in my understanding, I can control as much as I can. I can start whenever I want, I can stop whenever I want. And that is a sign that what I believe I don't have this. I am using this thing so that I can always have a conversation with myself. You can think it as a form of a self talk where I can just place A and B inside me and start talking and finding the answer. Like, for example, if I am going outside and it is raining, the A should be saying that don't go outside, and B should be telling me you can go outside, but take umbrella with you. So it is basically trying to figure out which is right and which is wrong. And it is not necessarily, as I said, a split personality, but more or like I am understanding what is right and what is wrong. And talking about loneliness, I think it is something we all go through, and people have different measures for different things. For me, this thing, self talk, and you can say finding the friend within me, having two different personality or two different identity, is kind of helping in a way that I can self talk with myself and kind of don't necessarily feel lonely, because I developed this thing since my childhood. I can remember that in my school days, I was not a very talkative kid. I was sitting in the corner trying to question things and also trying to answer by my own self. And it is really a dialogue happening between me inside my brain. And that is really kind of made me keep going in a way and never felt boredom or lonely at that level, which might have people think that they are lonely. So it really pushed me in a way that I can be with myself without needing with someone else. So it was really a good trait in my opinion, and I think it really helped me to live my life, because I think I have certainly spent most of my time completely alone, and I think it really helped me going, because I never in my life felt that level of desperate where I thought that my life cannot be lived if I be like this. So I kind of developed in a way that it made me find a friend within me so that I don't need to necessarily go and find outside. And yeah, it is something which I am kind of proud of. I'm not necessarily saying that I would go solo forever with my life and not find anyone, but more or like I would definitely gonna find someone, and but that person should be someone who can accept everything of me. And it is really hard, to be honest, to find that kind of a person, because as I said, the reason of being like this, being the truest friend of myself, was one of the reasons because I never really found that kind of acceptability with someone. And to be honest, I found people are shallow in a way that they don't fulfill at that level which I want them to be. And it also gives me some sort of clarity about those people who goes lonely. As I said in my previous video, I met few people. One of my teacher who is lonely, not lonely, but he goes solo, and I think he's doing pretty well. The way he's living his life, I don't think really that it has a problem or something, but I don't necessarily want to go that way, because I think at some point of my life I would be meeting or finding that person who can really fulfills me in a way that I can be happy with that. Or it might be gradual, who knows. And it is like pretty common to show one side of your things. For example, like you can see this side is bright and this side is dark. I usually show my brighter side to people, not the darker side. And it is pretty common because not everyone just comes towards you and just show everything of you. I think it's a normal thing as well with every kind of relationship, that it usually goes layer by layer by layer, and then you will understand who the person is. Maybe you will never understand, but still it just go peel by peel by peel, like the onion wala analogy, where like you can peel the onion and at the end you will just reach to the core of the onion. I think it is not something people's fault in a way that they are showing one side of their thing, and I also show sort of one side as well, but I don't necessarily like the way people are doing things. Even though they are sharing their one side, they lack empathy, they lack careness, they lack truthfulness, they lack clarity. Maybe both of their sides are mixed and they cannot even tell which side is which. So, yeah, that is why I want someone who can understand that what is bright and what is dark, as well as who is willing to show careness, honesty, and everything, which is I personally want and I also do in a way. So, my point of making this video is not about telling you that you should be alone with your own self, but more or like to become the best friend of yourself first, than to figure it out outside. Because unless and until you become your own best friend, it is going to be pretty hard. And I think everyone should understand their own self first before going to someone else. And I also believe that the person you are, you kind of attract that level of person. Like, for example, if you are self aware at that level, you will attract those kind of people. And it is certainly right in my case, because right now I don't necessarily talk with anyone, to be honest, apart from my childhood friends. I find most of the people are fake, and most of the people are like below average, which already separated in a way that I don't feel like that they are worthy enough to be understanding my true nature of self. And that is thing which really helped me to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. And that is really important, because if you are become self-aware about yourself, what your desire and what your needs are, you will understand that some of the people are not really into your taste or whatever. The whole ensemble of making this video is just by telling that I'm still working on myself. I'm still working to like show both of my sides to those people who are really worthy enough. And I'm not saying that I would necessarily be lonely or alone for the rest of my life, but more or like I am saying that even though sometimes I feel lonely, sometimes I feel that there is no one to talk to, but I still feel that I would definitely gonna attract those type of people who are self-aware at that level, which can really make my life easier, and the bonding will come natural. So yeah, thanks for watching this video.